For the insurance payments section of the report of findings, I want to make sure that you're really clear on a strategy, or maybe it's even a philosophy within your practice, and that is that I don't want you to become so dependent on insurance payments that you can't make your overhead if tomorrow insurance was gone. In other words, don't be dependent on insurance payments to cover your overhead. Make sure that insurance payments are the icing on the cake. They're the extra. They're on top of. That way you'll sleep good at night. You'll have great rapport with your patients. They'll make sure that you're compensated fairly so that you can cover your overhead. And then everything that comes in from insurance is the icing on the cake. It's the extra. Now there's two ways to handle insurance payments in the report of findings. And one is you just take a flat amount. So in other words, if you're contracted with an insurance company, or if it's say a workers' compensation or a Medicare insurance company, you'll know how much they're going to pay per visit. And if you know how much they're going to pay per visit, and you also know how many visits they cover, you can multiply those two figures together and come up with a lump sum, which is an estimate, but it's pretty close, and you know that's what the insurance is going to pay. In the lump sum environment, you'll just subtract that from the total amount of the charges, and the remaining amount is the patient portion and their balance. So the first way is the lump sum. The second is to, if you don't know exactly how much they're going to pay, if it's a percentage, you'll take the number of visits that the insurance covers. Say it's 25 visits or 24 visits for an insurance care plan. If they cover 24 visits, but you don't know exactly how much they'll cover, then what you can do is just subtract the 24 visits from the total visits you're recommending, apply a copay or a co-insurance or the shared cost by the patient, and then those visits will have an allocated cost, and the remaining visits outside of the 24, those are the patient responsibility at your normal rate. So there's two ways, again, that you're going to apply the insurance payments, and I'll show you this in the seminars, and I'll also show you this on the webinars, but I just want you to be familiar with those two, and above all, I want to make sure that your insurance payments are not, you're not dependent on that. There's too much value for chiropractic between the relationship for you and your patients. They should be paying you fairly, you should be compensated fairly, and that should cover your overhead. And then we'll get into more detail as we go into objections.